Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to today's Power Boost. So, our topic today is to bring our attention to the kind of responses that are required of us in these times. It seems as if every day there is more and more things that are causing alarm and causing fear and causing distrust. And so we certainly would want to be even more empowered given what we are facing at this time everywhere, whether it's in your personal life or with regard to your profession or with regard to your family. Seems there are challenges that we are facing. And so we certainly want to be empowered. And I think what it's drawing our attention to is, and when I thought of this, a song came to mind, how fragile we are. And that fragility, of course, has to do with the fact that the things that we relied on, the things that we thought gave us a firm foundation, no longer seems to be what we thought it was. So our foundation and our certainty and our assurances seem to be like shifting sand. And there's a particular line from that song that comes to mind, which is the title of course, it's Fragile. And the line that came to mind was that what's in our mind always stays. What's in our mind always stays. And of course, the reason that that is so is because that's where we have all of the power, because what's in your mind can only be removed by you, especially since it is put there by you as well. But only you can remove what's in your mind. And the reason that we need to look there for our strength is because it means then inherent in that very statement is that it can't be taken from you. Only you can remove it. And so what we can remove in order to be as strong as we need to be are those things that ought not to be there, meaning the doubt and the fear and the anxiety and the resentment and the anger and the confusion and so on and so on. And so what we want to do always, not just today as we are discussing it, but every day as we rise, is to be determined to bring to the fore, bring to that level of action all of that power that lies within. And so as you move around today, as you are inundated with things that you might feel you have no control over, remember that this mind of yours is for you to be empowered with, not disempowered. And so whatever the situation calls for, you have that you can bring to the fore, that you can use to be empowered, that you could use to be certain. And so if the situation requires patience, you can bring that to the fore. If the situation requires tolerance, you can bring that to the fore. If the situation requires patience, you can bring that to the fore. If the situation requires that you be more understanding, you can emerge that. And so, what is being drawn to your attention today is all of the power that you have within. And again, what's in your mind always stays. Only you can remove it. And so you are not at the mercy of any external force that might cause you to feel disempowered and shaken. We've relied so much on our position in order to give ourselves value and certainty. And those positions have always been temporary, even though we may not have been aware of them. We have relied so much on our possessions to feel assured and certain. And of course, I don't have to remind you, given what's going on, how quickly and in minutes possessions are being lost. Positions are being lost. And so where your strength lies, where your power lies, is within. And so the focus to be introverted in the most positive way is what we're talking about today. And that will remove this fragile fabric that we have so relied on. You know, introversion has been given a very negative an understanding, because we think of it as being antisocial or something like that. But it's the most proactive you could be about your own well-being, because when you are focused within, when you have the kind of introversion that we're talking about, then you are not the obstacles on the outside don't have the same impact, because then you relate to them based on your own ability to respond in the most discernible and in the most powerful way. And so what should occur as you go through this day and in the days to come is that you should be able to call on all of those powerful forces within. And of course, they are not physical, they make themselves manifest physically, but these are your innate powers. And it's not the kind of responses that are combative at all, because what it might require you to bring to the fore is acceptance. It might require you to bring to the fore forgiveness. And you should be experiencing, even now as we're discussing it, how transformative that can be and how powerful that can be, because that changes the way you are affected by our world. And in fact, it means then that you have an effect on the world, because what you are really changing is you are disempowering what has been those things that have caused you distress. You're disempowering the perishable, because what we're discussing is imperishable, isn't it? And so your forces within are the imperishable forces. In fact, that aligns them with the imperishable you. You are imperishable. And so what that means then is that by empowering those imperishable forces, then you are able to not to be in reaction, but instead to be able to respond in the most powerful way. And of course, being introverted, being aligned within is what we're talking about. And that's where your power lies. And so let's make today transformative in every way. And you're not being called upon to learn anything new. What you're being called upon is to use what you already have in a more meaningful way and to become much more aware of them, much more efficient at calling upon those reserves of power and bringing them into the fore. And these, because they're imperishable, they continue to increase, so that the more you use these powers, the more they will increase. And the more you share them, the more that they will become available to you. Because what you are doing by just being this way is having a positive effect, not only on whatever the circumstances are, but a positive influence on those who are around you. It will show up in your how you present yourself. It will show up in your energy field, and it will be positive and meaningful. And most important of all, you will continue to be happy and not be disagreeable, but you will be able to be flexible and to be fully present in every moment, and not be lamenting anything that's in the past, or be fearful of anything in the future, the immediate future and the distant future. And so let's do away with any feeling that we are not equipped, that we are inadequate to deal with what seems to be so much feeling of this fragile environment that we no longer are confused about, because for too long we have been thinking of these perishable things as what we should rely on, but they're not. It's the imperishable. It is the forces that are aligned with the imperishable you. And so let's make today that turning point. Let's make today that new beginning. Let's make today the day when all of what you can represent is that individual strength that we all have.